Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Moss Family Chevrolet in Tampa, Florida because we're gonna answer a big question that may be on your mind. Should you go out and get yourself a 2019 Camaro SS? Because remember, 2019, there was a lot of controversy, a lot of debate off of the front end styling of the car and the styling off the rear of the car. Well, guess what? General Motors, specifically Chevrolet, the designers got back together and said, you know what, maybe we did drop the ball in the styling. We are going to come out with a restyled front end for 2020. So think about it. If you buy a 2019 Camaro SS, it's got to be the SS. Can't be the RS with the V6, can't be the ZL1. If you buy a 2019 Camaro SS, are you buying a future collectible? Something that would fall along the lines of a 1963 split window Corvette, because remember, split window Corvette, that was only produced 1 year. So let's go ahead, go over this Camaro SS and really focus on those spots that really made some people upset and are now igniting change. So right off the bat, we'll start off at the front end of business. This really got people all over the internet, including yours truly, kind of up in arms. So you can see what they did with the styling of the headlights. They went a little bit smaller. They brought a lot of gloss black that comes across the whole front and mid area. I could see what they were doing. They were trying to go ZL1. They were trying to give it that ZL1 look without actually making it look like a ZL1. I do like the placement of the SS badge, and to be honest with you, for the most part, it's not too bad. Where they lost me and a lot of people is where they put the flow ties. So you have this chrome Chevy bow tie here, but this actually has an opening to it, and that's going to allow more air to flow through. Remember, it was all about back in 2014 with the Z28 Corvette Camaro that they actually had the bow tie up here still, and they hollowed it out, and they discovered that there was more airflow just by hollowing out the bow tie. Now, when you get a ZL1, the ZL1 also has a flow tie, but it's a totally different situation. I wish they would have just kept the Chevy bow tie symbol up here, made it a flow tie, and made this one whole piece. I think a lot of people would have been a lot happier with that style. But I do like the way they integrated the lower lip spoiler right into the front fascia. What's interesting is that there's actually more ground clearance. If you look at the front of a 2018 SS compared to this 2019, the nose actually sits up a little bit higher on the 2019, which I think also throws it off just a little bit. But I also think that with the side air curtains here, this was another touchy point for some people. The great news is it's functional, so it is going to channel air, but some people felt the styling was a little too Transformer-ish for the front of the Camaro. Now, when you go up onto the hood, they did give you an updated heat extractor. This will stay the same. I wish they would have made it just a little bit longer, a little bit wider of a heat extractor, but it is a functional piece, and that really is a great thing to have a functional piece if you're going to have it on the hood. Now, as we come around the corner here, very straightforward, simple wheel. They took that 5-star design and kind of put some extra touches to it to make it stand out. You can see the large Brembo calipers that you're going to get with the SS. This one, you can see the fading that's taken place by time, because this one is a pre-owned 2019. Somebody traded this one in, and you can see how this color has gotten a little white, almost like a grayish, light grayish color, which something to think about if you're going to get yourself a 2019 Camaro SS. Now, as we go into the fender, I love the Camaro badging, especially the red, white, and blue. That is tradition. That goes back. Remember, 1967 is the first year of the Chevrolet Camaro, and we didn't have a Camaro between the years of 2003 all the way up to 2009, because the last Camaro was 2010, then they brought it back 2002, then they brought it back for 2010. This being the current generation with what we're doing styling wise, a lot of this is the same as that 2010. So you have the very low side windows. A lot of people get upset because that hurts their visibility. There's a lot of blind spots and whatnot, but it does give it the whole concept car look, just like they did when they unveiled it at the Detroit Auto Show many years ago. Now, as you go into the rear, everything else is staying the same compared to your 2018 and your 2019. Very, very simple on the SS, very simple rear spoiler. It's a pedestal spoiler. I wish they would have done something a little bit more unique here. Where they went unique was on the taillights. Now the taillights are gonna stay the same for 2020. The SS has the cleared out taillights. I actually would like these better if they were red and you got rid of these horizontal lines within the ovals. I think that would clean it up. Also, where they put the SS badge, I don't know who came up with that. If they were playing pin the tail on the donkey, but this needs to be up here on the actual trunk lid rather than on the lower portion of the bumper. As we come across that bumper, you can see very simple diffuser. You do have your active exhaust, which you can make louder or quieter depending on what you want on this particular model. And I do like the blacked out Chevy bow tie symbol. That to me is a very nice touch. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, check out the V8 and see what kind of power it's producing. All right guys, we got the hood popped on this 2019 Camaro SS. Like I was telling you, there are those functional heat extractors from the underside. Another thing that I like is the little touches. You see how they emboss that Chevrolet Camaro logo on the side where, like we saw on the fender, it's got the red, white, and blue. That engine is all red, white, and blue. That is that 6.2 liter V8 with push rods. There's not an overhead cam at all in this engine. It's old school push rod V8, 455 horsepower, 455 pound-feet of torque. All new for 2019, remember, is that slick shifting 10-speed automatic transmission. The car weighs about 3,800 pounds. 0 to 60, this is the good stuff about the car. 0 to 60, 4 seconds flat. Quarter mile at 12.4 seconds, 115 miles an hour. 16 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway. You know, you open up the hood, I do like the red Camaro script. I just wish that they didn't have to put this plastic cover, that they could just show that intake plenum, because I'm telling you, there was once upon a time where you didn't have covers over the intake plenums, especially on hot V8s like this 6.2 liter. But why don't we go ahead, we talked about it, we looked at it, let's go ahead and fire up this SS and see what it sounds like. All right guys, we're inside the 2019 Camaro SS. Now this is a unique situation because this one is recently traded in. So this is a pre-owned one, but same apples to apples. If you buy a brand new one here at Moss Family Chevrolet or this one, you're still getting that unique styling on the 2019. Now, if you're wondering how much is this particular one, this one is right around an asking price of $38,000. It's got a little bit over 3,000 miles on it. So somebody just lightly broke this in and for whatever reason decided to maybe upgrade to a new Corvette or something. Let me show you the key fob. Very simple key fob on the Camaro. You got the Chevrolet bow tie there. You flip it around and there's your buttons and whatnot. It does the job. Is it the most attractive key fob? No, but I've seen worse, I promise you that. To the door panels. Now I like what Chevrolet has done with the door panels, where you have some leather on the armrest, the light contrast stitching, you got a little bit of flat silver to kind of just spruce up the sea of dark material. As we go from the door panel to the dash, this is where they lose me a little bit. It's very, very hard on the top of the dash. Here it has that simulated leather with the stitching, but very, very hard up top. As we come down, you have your infotainment system. They angle it towards you to try to fight some of that glare. Some people have some issues hitting these buttons here on the touchscreen without hitting these buttons here that are located, the physical buttons. But this is totally touchscreen. You got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, very easy to use. You can get back to home and whatnot. You got your nice sliding feature to it, which is great. I like that, it's like a cell phone. As we drop down, very slim, very trim. AC controls, this one does not have dual climate. To adjust the temperature, you turn this guy right here. To adjust the blower speed, you turn that guy. Very nice touch, really gives it a clean look. This is gonna be controlling your 10-speed automatic transmission. You got the perforated leather, the stitching. I like the way they took the Camaro badge and some racing stripes and put it on top of the shift knob there. A little bit of silver trim, harder plastic all the way around. You do have an electric e-brake and also a mode selector, which I'll show you more about this when you go to the business end. Very interesting placement for a 12 volt. I don't know why Chevy decides to put it here, because if you have to run a radar detector for whatever reason, you're gonna have to run that cord from that location all the way to the windshield, which to me doesn't make sense. 2 cup holders. It's a hard armrest, but it's got that simulated leather with the stitching, nice Camaro embroidery. You open it up, very shallow. You could probably fit 1 Twinkie, maybe a Twinkie and a half. So if you take a bite, you could get that other half in there. You do have USB, which is a nice touch. And then finally the seats. These seats are cloth. They're comfortable as can be. I wish that they put the Camaro name somewhere on the seat, but you know what? It's got a little bit of gray. It's got the contrast stitching. Obviously, you could option up higher on the food chain to get leather interior in your Camaro SS. But why don't you get over to the business side of things and I'll show you behind the wheel. All right, guys, business end. I'm 6 feet tall. Still have plenty of headroom, even with the low roof, obviously. Full electric seat over here for the driver. You could get it to adjust any which way. Steering wheel. Now, I'm a little mixed on it. I like the size of it. I like the shape. I just wish, like where it says SS, why does this need to be plastic? It should be some other type of material. Horn button is decent looking. I like the brushed aluminum. You do have paddles to go up and down your 10-speed automatic, but I like the dash layout in these Camaros. You have an analog tach, analog speedometer, and then that center digital display, you could actually toggle through all sorts of different information, and you could actually set it exactly the way that you want to set it for whatever you want. But you can see all the different ways to scroll through the information there very easily, very crisp, very nice. You also have your track modes. So right now we're in sport. You got tour, sport, track, snow and ice. So that allows you to adjust. It's going to adjust steering, it's going to adjust throttle, all that good stuff, shifting and whatnot, especially with the automatic, depending on whatever mode that you're in. But the big thing, like I said, it's kind of crazy how close the windshield is to your face. It actually feels a little bit more claustrophobic in here than a Corvette, believe it or not. But why don't we go ahead, pop the trunk, and see how usable a Camaro SS trunk is. All right, guys, the trunk space, this is really the weakest point of the Camaro, I think. When you open it, not a very large opening. Now, if you're able to fit something past this opening, it is pretty spacious in there, especially with the ability to fold down the back seat. But if you compare this to a Mustang or a Dodge Challenger, you're definitely gonna have a lot more room in the trunk compared to the Camaro. But you know what? This car really isn't about the trunk. It's about the driving experience. Why don't we go ahead, take this SS for a spin. All right, guys, so we left Moss Family Chevrolet. We're in the 2019 Camaro SS. The one thing that's crazy in this whole debate and wondering what's going to happen with the Camaro overall, because remember they're saying that they're going to kill it off in 2023, is when you get behind the wheel, all that goes bye-bye, because there's no doubting or debating the performance of this Camaro. I mean, just through this little section here, it's really where the Camaro shines. That pushrod V8, 455 horsepower, and the 10-speed automatic transmission that's new for 2019 really just says, hey, this thing gets the business done. Nice burble from the exhaust. Great feedback from the wheel too. I mean, it's like your hands are connected to those front hubs of those front wheels, because that's how good the feedback is. The problem that's gonna hurt a lot of people for this, you know, to be their daily driver, are those blind spots out back. Looking out the front windshield, you kind of get used to it, and you kind of, you know, once you get in the zone and you're driving and whatnot, it's not that big of a deal. But the rear of the car, the blind spots are ridiculous. And I know you don't buy a car for visibility, but it is very cramped inside the Camaro compared to even the Corvette, which is a 2-seat car compared to this one being a 4-seat car. But overall, the drivability is great. The seats are comfortable as can be. So I'm definitely giving a big thumbs on that, big thumbs up on that. And like I said, for somebody who doesn't want to row through their own gears, the 10-speed automatic transmission is a great choice because of how fast it shifts through the gears. That's the wonderful thing. It's yet to be determined what's going to happen with the value of these Camaros, especially this one being a one-off, only for 2019. should you go down and buy one? I think, you know what? If you don't mind it and you like the way it looks, this could be the one. Buy a 2019, skip the 2020, and this could be something that down the road does go up in value. Or it may be the one that everybody avoids. Who knows? I mean, if we all had a crystal ball, I think we'd all go back in time and buy a bunch of muscle cars from the 60s and early 70s and whatnot. But it's one of those things that the car, though, you can still drive, you can still enjoy, go do your track day, go do your autocross event, and it's got tons of performance. 0 to 64 seconds. Just to put that in perspective for you, a Shelby GT350 does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. So if you're looking for performance numbers, this Camaro SS definitely has the performance numbers. And remember, SS stands for Super Sport, if anybody ever asks you. That way you know and you're in the know. All right, guys, making a quick U-turn here. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it in automatic mode. We're at 13 miles an hour on throttle. I'm telling you, each shift hits really nicely. You're getting a great sound out of the back of the car. I mean, that muscle car sound that you expect to have, and just the experience in a Camaro SS is a blast. Looking out over the hood, it looks great, but boy, when you get on that loud pedal, that's where the fun really begins. Brakes feel great. You got those 4-piston Brembos. It's gonna be interesting what happens with not only this particular Camaro, the 2019, but also just the Camaro overall. Is it really gonna be killed off? But we're gonna go ahead. Hopefully this touches just on some of the ideas that you might be thinking of whether you should jump on a 2019 Camaro SS, even from a driving standpoint, a performance standpoint, an enthusiast standpoint. We're gonna wrap this up and get back to Moss Family Chevrolet, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful day here at Moss Family Chevrolet with this 2019 Camaro SS. The big question, will this be a future collectible, a design that is a one-off, never to be seen again? Only time will tell, but there's definitely no questioning the performance behind this bodywork in this Camaro. But if these are the things that you like to see on Rady's Rides, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. I gotta thank Ricky, Albert, and everybody here at Moss Family Chevrolet for getting us access to these amazing vehicles. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Definitely want to check out and get yourself some Rady's Rides merch by clicking the link in the description. That allows us to keep making this great content just for you. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, getting this Camaro SS every which way that he can. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.